Let's step back to Fall River, Massachusetts, in the summer of 1892. A gritty mill town where the air hums with the clatter of looms and the faint tang of coal smoke. It's August, and the heat is oppressive. A sticky blanket that weighs on everyone, turning tempers short and patience thin. At 92 2nd Street, a narrow two-story house sits wedged between neighbors. A plain, gray-clapboard affair with tight windows and a dour front door. This isn't the grand estate you'd expect for a man of means, but Andrew Borden, 70, isn't one for flash. He's a wiry, gaunt figure, white beard trimmed sharp, eyes like steel. A banker and landlord who's clawed his way to a $300,000 fortune, a king's ransom in those days. His second wife, Abby, 64, moves through the house with a quiet bustle, short, round, her gray hair pinned tight, always fussing over meals or dusting the sparse furniture. Then there's Lizzie, 32, their younger daughter, tall, angular, with a prim demeanor and a gaze that could cut glass. Her older sister, Emma, 41, hovers in the background, small, soft-spoken, a faded echo of Lizzie's fire. They're a family stitched together by blood and money, but the threads are fraying, and something sinister is simmering beneath the surface. Andrew's the patriarch here, a man who built his empire from the ground up. Started as a furniture peddler, moved into banking, snapped up half of Fall River's boarding houses and storefronts. He's a fixture in town. Sits on boards, counts every dime, wears the same patched coat for years. People respect him, sure, but they don't like him, too cold, too miserly, the kind of guy who'd haggle over a nickel. Abby's his anchor. Married him in 1865 after his first wife, Sarah, died, leaving him with 2 little girls. She's tried to mother them, but it's a lost cause. Lizzie calls her Mrs. Borden with a sneer. Emma barely speaks to her, both nursing a grudge over their real mom's ghost. The house mirrors their strain. Cramped despite Andrew's wealth. No running water, gas lamps flickering in tight rooms. It's a warren of locked doors. Andrew bolts his bedroom every night. Lizzie keeps her own key, and heavy silences broken only by the creak of old wood. Lizzie's the wild card. Teaches Sunday school at Central Congregational. Sings in the choir. But she's restless, itching for Boston's parlors and silk gowns, suffocating under her father's thrift. Things have been souring for months now, and it's all about the money. Andrew's been tinkering with his will, shifting assets to Abby's family. A sister in Taunton getting deeds to properties the girls thought were theirs. Lizzie's livid. Caught him in July signing papers, stormed into the parlor, voice shaking as she yelled, "You're robbing us blind." Neighbors heard it. Andrew roaring back, "It's my money," and the fight spilled into the street, windows rattling as Lizzie slammed the door. Abby's caught in the crossfire, pleading with Andrew to ease up, begging Lizzie to calm down, her hands twisting her apron in knots. Then there's the weirdness. Pigeons Andrew kept in the barn, his little hobby, found hacked apart with an axe a week ago, heads rolling in the straw. He blamed a local boy, swore he'd tan his hide. But Lizzie just stood there, lips twitching, saying nothing. Bridget Sullivan, the Irish maid, 26, sturdy, fresh off the boat, whispers to her pals at the market. Lizzie's been queer, pacing at night, muttering about fixing things. It's August 3rd, and the heat's a beast. Flies droning, sweat staining collars, the whole town sluggish. Andrew's at the bank all morning, counting coins, while Abby's in the kitchen, reheating mutton soup. 3 days old, greasy and rank in the humidity. Lizzie's upstairs, ironing a pile of handkerchiefs, her movements slow, almost trance-like, the iron hissing against damp cloth. Bridget's scrubbing the dining room floor, dodging the family's sharp glances, her mop sloshing in a bucket. The night before was rough. Andrew vomiting into a basin, Abby doubled over, even Lizzie pale and shaky, all blaming the spoiled food. She told Alice Russell, her friend from church, "Someone's poisoning us." Her tone half laugh, Half-edge. Andrew's on guard. Checked the locks twice. Slept with a chair against his door. Something's brewing, thick and heavy. And it's not just the storm clouds rolling in. That house is a powder keg, and tomorrow it's going to ignite. August 4th, 1892. Creeps in slow and muggy over Fall River. The heat pressing down like a fist. Not a breeze to stir the stifling air. Inside 92 2nd Street, the Borden house is still, too still, until it's ripped apart. Around 9 a.m., Abby's upstairs in the guest room, smoothing the quilt on a narrow bed, her back to the door, humming softly to herself. That's when the axe falls 19 times, they'll count later. Swinging with vicious force, smashing her skull, splintering bone, slashing her neck and back. Blood sprays wild, arcs across the wallpaper, pools on the floor, soaks the mattress into a sodden, crimson mess. She collapses, face down, her gray bun matted red, arms splayed like a broken doll. 2 hours tick by, quiet as death, until Andrew shuffles home at 11. Tired from the bank, loosening his tie, settling onto the sitting room sofa with a sigh. He kicks off his shoes, props his glasses on his nose, and then it comes again. 10 blows, maybe 11, the axe hacking his face to a pulp, splitting his left eye, shattering his jaw, blood drenching the cushions and dripping to the rug. 2 bodies, 2 slaughter scenes, and the house holds its breath, silent but for the flies starting to gather. Lizzie's voice cuts through, sharp, steady, calling from the back stairs, "Bridget, come quick! Father's dead." Bridget, elbow deep in dishwater, drops a plate and runs, apron flapping. She stops cold at the sitting room. Andrew's a ruin, face unrecognizable, blood crusting around his split skull, one hand still curled around his pipe. She gags, bolts out the back door. First to Dr. Seabury Bowen across the street, then Mrs. Adelaide Churchill next door, her cries bringing half the block running. The yard's chaos in minutes. Neighbors clutching shawls. A cop on a bicycle pedaling up, murmurs swelling into a roar. Lizzie's on the porch, pale as chalk but upright, fanning herself with a lace hanky, saying she'd been in the barn, heard a groan, found him like that. Mrs. Churchill braves the stairs, finds Abby in the guest room, screams echoing down, and Chief Marshal John Hilliard storms in, badge glinting, taking stock of the carnage. Hilliard's a bulldog, gray mustache, hard eyes, surveying 2 hacked bodies, no busted locks, no muddy tracks in the hall. "Where's the wife?" he barks, and Lizzie shrugs. "Out visiting, I thought, but maybe not." Her story's thin. She was in the barn loft 20 minutes, looking for sinkers to fish with, then the kitchen munching pears. It's 90 degrees. Barn's an oven, pears are green. But she's cool, unruffled, sipping tea. Bridget fetches her. They ask about Abby. She says she didn't hear a thing, just that groan from Andrew. Bridget nods, heard the call, saw Lizzie in her blue dress, no blood. But her voice trembles, her hands won't stay still. Hilliard's team digs. The guest bed's a slaughter pit. Andrew's sofa a gore-soaked throne. No axe in sight. Down in the cellar, they find a hatchet. Blade chipped, handle scrubbed clean, tucked behind coal sacks. It's a fit, but no blood sticks. Fall River's ablaze. Telegrams zip to Boston. Papers howl, axe murders. Lizzie's a riddle. Grieving daughter or something colder. Neighbors spill dirt. Andrew's tight fist. Abby's stolen inheritance. Lizzie's venom for her stepmother. The mutton sickness twists it. Poison first, axe second. The cops are circling, and that house is a vault of secrets begging to crack. August 5th, 1892, and Fall River's a furnace of fear and whispers. 92 2nd Street roped off, a crowd swelling outside, peering at the gray house like it's cursed. Chief Hilliard's got Lizzie in the parlor now, detectives looming. His voice a low growl as they bore in. "Tell it again, Miss Borden. Where were you?" "She's a statue. Says she was in the barn loft, 20 minutes, hunting fishing weights, then downstairs eating pears by the sink." It's a blistering day. Loft's a sweatbox, pears tart and unripe. But she doesn't blink, hands folded in her lap. They hammer the timeline. Abby dead at 9, Andrew at 11, 2 hours apart in a house tighter than a drum. Didn't hear a scream? A thud. Hilliard snaps. Nothing, she says. Just a scrape when I came in. Her calm's unnerving. No tears, no tremble, just those sharp eyes meeting his. They peel back the Borden mess. Andrew's will rewritten to favor Abby's kin, slashing Lizzie and Emma's cut. Emma's home now, wan and shaky. Says Lizzie loathed Abby, fought Andrew over every dime. Last month, she'd hissed, "You're stealing our future." Bridget's a fountain. Heard Lizzie rage days ago. He's giving it to her people. The hatchets. The kicker. Cellar find. Blade dulled. Handle wiped. Fits the wounds like a glove. Cops test it, no blood, no proof, but it's too clean, too handy. The guest room's a nightmare. Abby's head smashed. Bed a red swamp. 19 chops carving her down. Andrew's worse. Face a meaty wreck, sofa dripping, 11 hacks ending him quick. No fight, no flight, just slaughter. Lizzie's world shifts. She's at Alice Russell's place with Emma. Dodging the mob, but she's strange. Orders a new dress from a seamstress August 6th. Burns an old blue one in the kitchen stove that night. Alice watches. Fabric singeing. Smoke curling. Asks, "Why?" Lizzie mutters, "Paint stains." But her hands shake. Word spreads. Neighbors swear she never left the house. Saw her shadow in the windows all morning. Hilliard's team digs deeper. A druggist, Hosea Knowlton, says Lizzie tried buying prussic acid July 31st. "For moths in my furs." He refused. She glared, stormed out. Poison plot gone wrong? The axe says otherwise, raw personal fury. The town's a split. Some cry she's innocent, a scapegoat. Others hiss murderous, pointing at her icy front. Lizzie's cracking. Snarls at a cop. "Stop hounding me." And the noose is tightening, dragging her toward judgment. June 5, 1893, and New Bedford's courthouse is a madhouse. Fall River's too raw, so they've dragged Lizzie Borden 15 miles south for her day in court. She's 33, prim in morning black, facing double murder charges. Andrew and Abby, axed to death 10 months back. The room's a sweatbox. Reporters pack the galleries. Locals fan damp faces. 12 jurors in stiff collars brace for the show. Prosecutors William Moody and Hosea Knowlton come hard. Say Lizzie planned it, killed for cash and hate. They haul out the horror. Photos of Abby's pulped skull. Andrew's hacked face. Blood-soaked beds as grim trophies. The hatchets front and center. Chipped. Handle-less. Matches the wounds, they swear. Bridget's up. Voice quaking. Says Lizzie called her calm as ice. No tears. Alice drops the dress bombshell. Burned it. Blue scraps smoldering. 2 days after the murders. Defense lawyer George Jennings swings back. No blood on her. No eyewitnesses. Just a God-fearing woman, railroaded by gossip. Lizzie sits mute, staring ahead, as they tout her church cred. Sunday school star, choir angel. Moody counters, motives a lock, $300,000 estate. Abby's family siphoning her share. Emma testifies. Lizzie wouldn't hurt a fly, but her eyes flicker. Experts brawl, hatchet fits, but no blood proves it. Prussic acid's a ghost, no trace in the bodies. The family dirt spills. Lizzie's venom for Abby, Andrew's penny pinching. A house of locked rooms and bitter fights. Bridget recalls Lizzie's rants. "She'll not get a cent if I can help it." The courtroom's electric. Gasps at the gore. Sobs from Abby's kin. Andrew's uncle glaring daggers. Moody's closing is a torch. She butchered them for greed. Jennings begs. A daughter betrayed. Not a killer. June 20th, it lands, not guilty, 90 minutes flat. The room explodes. Cheers, wails. Lizzie's lips twitch. Free but forever stained. June 20th, 1893, and Lizzie Borden steps out of New Bedford acquitted. 33. Unshackled. But Fall River's gaze is a chain she can't shake. The verdict stuns. 2 hacked corpses. No justice, just a daughter who danced through the cracks. Andrew's brother-in-law, John Morse, storms off, snarling, "She's guilty as sin." Abby's sister Sarah weeps. Murder walks free. Lizzie's blank. Moves with Emma to Maplecroft, a hilltop mansion. $25,000 of blood money buying chandeliers and solitude. But it's a gilded cage. Neighbors cross the street. Kids sing. Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her mother 40 whacks. A taunt that haunts her steps. She lives big, trips to New York, theater tickets, silk dresses, but it's hollow. Fall River shuns her. Church friends ghost. Shopkeepers turn cold. Emma breaks in 1905. Moves out, can't bear the whispers. And Lizzie's a recluse, aging alone with her cats and regrets. She dies in 1927, 66, $500,000 to her name. Buried near Andrew and Abby in Oak Grove Cemetery. A twisted reunion. The house on 2nd Street stands, now a B&B. Beds preserved in myth, a tourist trap for the morbid. Fall River's marked. $1 million in today's dollars lost to a killer uncaught. Greed? Madness? A daughter's rage? The axe stays mute, justice a phantom, and Lizzie's enigma endures. A blood-stained bed no one can unmake.